I grew up with a pretty abnormal childhood. My adventures consisted of making a few visits to the local jail right here in Barrister. I was around addiction for a good majority of my life. It's something that I've learned a lot about throughout the years, which is why I know that addiction is not just a lifestyle, but an illness. We're going to talk about the different types of addiction, potential legal effects of addiction, as well as the impacts addiction has on our friends and family. Many people hear addiction and often think of substances and chemical abuse. However, it is also possible for people to be addicted to a behavior and not just other chemicals and substances. Those of us that have encountered drug addiction firsthand know that addiction isn't just a simple hobby or craving, but an actual illness in which you can't control your actions and emotions. I've experienced chemical and substance addiction, and I've witnessed close members of my family battle addiction with very harmful drugs and even prescription drugs. It overcomes their entire lives, and it becomes the most important thing to them. Addiction trumps everything. It's not easy to watch the people that you care about and love live life chasing something that is harmful to them. Articles and history have shown that addiction isn't something you can ever completely recover from, and you'll live your entire life being a recovering addict. There are a few different types of addictions. Substance and chemical addictions are something that we're all familiar with. There's the commonly known addictions such as marijuana, nicotine, alcohol, methamphetamine, and heroin. Alcohol and even prescription drugs are considered these substance abuses as well. These addictions are the most lethal type. As you can see, the physical effects on this picture right here show the before and after effects of using methamphetamines. Another type of addiction is behavioral addiction, which consists of gaming addiction, internet addiction, and even shopping addictions. Consider how often you guys all have your cell phones with you and use your cell phones every day without even thinking about it. You also are constantly going online for social networking and just to watch YouTube videos. It's something that we all do on a daily basis, and this can be considered an addiction. When you have a serious addiction, even to a behavior, it's not something you can easily control. Now that we have learned the many different types of addictions, let's focus on the potential legal repercussions of addiction. It was said that in a recent study, approximately 40% of adults in the US and Canada will use illegal drugs in their entire lives. Addiction can potentially lead to unwanted legal attention such as DUIs, theft, burglary, even domestic abuse. And of course, there's also illegal possession of controlled substances and paraphernalia. These things also lead to financial hardships because you do have large fines that come with these different types of legal instances. Aside from negative legal effects of addiction, it can also have a huge impact on your personal relationships with your family and friends. With my own personal experiences dealing with my parents' addiction as a young child, I will tell you firsthand the impacts one's addiction takes on a family. Life in general is much more difficult. You worry constantly whether they're going to come home, whether they're going to be arrested, or whether they're just going to die over overdose. You will end up losing trust in them because their addiction is the #1 priority. Fortunate enough for me, I was lucky that I had parents who still took care of me, and they still put a roof over my head and had food on the table every single night. It does end up breaking up relationships and causing a lot of anger and resentment that isn't easy to resolve. Mending relationships during an addict's recovery process isn't easy. They will typically go through a 12-step recovery process. They begin their meetings by reciting the Serenity Prayer, which I have right here. They start off every single meeting, whether it's AA, NA, whatever type it is, by saying, "God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference." They also are required to follow these 12 steps right here, which consist of just a lot of it is finding a higher power and just mending previous relationships that you could have broken. The prayer itself is a way for all addicts to see they cannot change the past, but they can have the courage to change their future. It's important for addicts to have the full support of their friends and family to make this never-ending struggle as smooth as possible for them. Today we talked about the different types of addictions, potential legal effects of addiction, and the impacts that addiction has on our friends and family. Addiction changes lives. Luke Davies once said, "When you can stop, you don't want to, and when you want to stop, you can't." There's no better way to make an attempt to explain how an addict feels every single day of their life. The motto an addict lives by is simply to just live one day at a time.